about a 4-day session. And that was just at that time that they were beginning this program, which they called the NRA withholding program. And why it was called that name was a real misnomer. But the concept behind the program was the following: that American citizens, whether they lived abroad or in America, were investing in the U.S. markets, like the New York Stock Exchange, via foreign banks and foreign brokers. Yeah, because we know the way the American system, the tax system, functions. Okay, you give your money to Wells Fargo or any of the organizations, at the end of the year, they print out a 1099 form of the dividend income received, the interest income received, the gross proceeds that you got from selling stocks during the course of the year. They send the client one copy, they send another one to the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS takes their copy of the 1099, they computerize it, they used to put it on big tapes, you know, of information, and then they wait for you to file your tax return. And they put it all together. And if there's a 1099 they've received from Wells Fargo on dividend income paid, and it's not on your Schedule B, watch out. Because then the IRS sends you a letter and says you forgot to declare this, and therefore we're reassessing your tax liability, etc. Well, that never applied to any of the foreign brokers or foreign banks. So if you're with Deutsche Bank in Germany or Societe Generale in Paris or whatever it might be, they were not required to complete that form. So it made sense, if you really didn't want to declare the income, you shipped it overseas, even though overseas they reinvested it for you back in the United States. So there was some merit in the program, but come on, I said, this is, you know, you're exaggerating the importance of this, because if I live in France and I give money to Societe Generale and they invested in the New York stock market, when it comes back to me from them, I'm going to have to pay local taxes on it.
Yeah.
So what's the big issue here? What are we doing? You know, I mean, I'm going to be taxed on it in the country where I live.
Yeah.
In most cases, very strong possibility of coming back to bite the government. I'll go so, you know, in an outrageous mode, I'll go so far as to say that maybe some of these foreign banks will just pull their money out of America. Let's get the Swiss banks, UBS, Credit Suisse, and all like that. Just no longer invest in the United States. Invest in India, invest in China, invest where they want. There goes the New York stock market right there, in my opinion. Now, will they go that far? Maybe not. A second one, you'll read in that letter I just passed out. Why don't they go to the U.S. Treasury and say, okay, U.S. Treasury, we want you to tell us about all of our citizens that are investing in the United States. Go ahead, can you imagine that? They got to go to all the American banks and say, okay, the Italians, all right? Everyone is an Italian national. The Italian government has asked U.S. Treasury to give them a list of all of the Italians that have money in the United States. Yeah, why not? That's reciprocity.
Excuse me, isn't it a big burden for these banks to hire people?
Absolutely right.
Why do they want to take America? If they see an American passport, they probably going to say, go bank somewhere else.
You are absolutely right. That's exactly what's happening. Credit Suisse has informed in January of this year all of the American clients in Credit Suisse in Luxembourg, bye-bye. You cannot open an account in Switzerland today unless you live there, if you're an American citizen.
But if you have a double citizenship, why would the bank even know that I was an American citizen?
Oh, you see, there you go. I didn't have to say that. I didn't say that.
I mean, how would they know?
How would they know? That's a very good question. If you go in there and say, hi, here's my other passport, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they don't ask me my passport. I just have my carta d'identità. It says I'm Italian.
There you go. There you go. Now, whether they're zealously going to say, but you were born in the United States. Well, gee, doesn't that mean you're American? You know, whatever. No, I think most of these banks, they don't want to comply with it. It's an administrative burden on them. It costs them money.
Right.
And as a result, you're in a situation right now where many American citizens living abroad are having trouble maintaining their foreign accounts, and under the Patriot Act are being told they can't open an account in the United States because they don't have a U.S. address. Yes. And all of this because that's what the IRS, you know, wanted. Maybe not the consequence they intended, but yet that's the practicality of the situation.
I like the way you said that.
Huh?
I think that is very true. I don't think that's what the IRS intended.
Yeah.
But that is the practicality. And it's like I said yesterday, it's how the banks interpret the rules. And it is. It's for the financial institutions, it's high risk, low reward.
Yeah.
Meaning high risk, more paperwork, more compliance, more people to hire. There's nothing written that says we won't do it. And then someone says in management, well, this is just so much and so many forms and so many things, and we get maybe 2 Americans, and you know, the Americans living.
Now, then they always raised Saudi Arabia, you know, and there was a woman from Saudi Arabia who said she does pay tax there. But, you know, Switzerland, I mean, some of these places, you know, where people said, well, no, that's not, it doesn't apply all over, and therefore the exception makes the rule, and therefore they launched into this program 15 years ago to require the foreign banks and brokers to either declare, well, not declare the income, to know their clients. This was a forerunner of the Patriot Act. It was a big thing, the Patriot Act. Know your clients. Well, this NRA withholding program said to the foreign banks and all, you must know your clients. You must know which ones of them are American citizens. You must go to your American citizen clients around the world, wherever they are, and you must get them to sign a W-9 form attesting to their American citizenship, an IRS W-9 form. Or, if they don't, and the client had the right not to, then you cannot invest their money in the American markets. You can continue to invest in European bonds, you can do whatever you want to for that client, but if the American client of you, the foreign bank or broker, refuses to acknowledge his or her American citizenship, you are then compelled to not invest their money in U.S. securities. All right, that's the way the program initially began, all right? So, 15 years ago, Swiss banks were the first to honor it. They were the first one to get out to know their clients, to know which ones were American citizens, to send them the letter saying, you know, we wanted you to declare your American citizenship. If you don't, we're not going to invest. We're going to close out all your U.S. investments in your account here in Switzerland, and we won't invest any further for you in that regard. Now, was this